Okay guys, welcome to the video. Today I will be covering UFC 250 Nunes versus Spencer, which was announced a while ago. Right now we got 10 bouts with the headliner Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer, and you can see the rest of the card here. I'm gonna start at the preliminary card and work my way up. So, if we look at the first one, we got Magny versus Anthony Rocco Martin. Magny just came from a huge win over Li Jianglang, where he was very impressive. If you haven't seen that match, I advise you to go and watch it right away, because that was a very dominant performance. Yeah. Magny shows that he was for real. Anthony Rocco Martin, his last win was versus Ramazan Emev, which was a unanimous decision. 22-7 versus 17-5. If you look at them, they're not that different in height and weight. But if you see here, the reach is enormous for Magny. He got over 2 meter wingspan. He's 6'3". Rocco Martin is 6 foot. Quite similar in age. Yeah, I feel that both of these are quite even. They're technical strikers, kickboxers. Both have good cardio, but based on the last performance, I have to go with Magny on this one. He wants the gas. He can pick him apart from the outside with jabs and leg kicks. So yeah, I think Rocco Martin will have a rough time. So my prediction is Magny in this one. Moving on, we got Chase Hooper versus Alex Caceres in is it featherweight? Yeah, featherweight bout. We got the young Chase Hooper, only 20 years old. I think he's one of the youngest guys on the roster. He's on a 3-fight winning streak, with his last win coming from Daniel Timor, which he won via ground and pound. This guy got a very good jiu-jitsu game, Chase Hooper. Then we got Bruce Leroy, now a veteran in the game. If you look at his wins and losses, win, loss, loss, win. It's but it's quite good. He has versed almost the entire roster. If you look at their stats, Bruce Leroy, 11 years the elder, he's a little bit, he's a little smaller, standing at 5'10". Chase Hooper is really tall for the weight division, at 6'1". He's got a much longer reach, and he seems like he's on a tear right now. So he's an up-and-comer. He's definitely got a lot more growing to do before he reaches prime. But my prediction is Chase Hooper wins a unanimous decision versus Bruce Leroy. Next, in the middleweight division, we got Charles Byrd versus Maki Pitolo in a middleweight bout. If you look at their stats, you can see that Charles Byrd is a little bit older at 36. Pitolo is 29. And interesting, you can see Pitolo is coming up a weight from welterweight. So we don't know how that will go, if the weight gain has been good for him or whatnot. Both stand at 5 feet 10 inches tall. They have quite the same reach. I think if we look at Charles Byrd body type, he's a little bit more compact. He's a more explosive athlete, I believe. Looking at their last 5 fights, going off their last fight, Pitolo lost a unanimous decision to Callum Potter, and Charles Byrd lost via Edmund Shabazian. No shame in that one. And the one before that was Darren Stewart. So I think Justin Sumter, I don't know who that guy is. I think Charles Byrd has faced better competition. I don't think I haven't heard a lot about this guy, Maki Pitolo, but I got a strong feeling that Charles Byrd will come through in this bout. So my prediction is Charles Byrd defeats Maki Pitolo via rear naked choke. I've seen he lost a bout via choke, and Charles Byrd have won via choke, so he's quite good at submissions. Moving on to the middleweight division, we got Ian Heinisch versus Gerald Meerschaert. Looking at their last fights, Heinisch lost a unanimous decision to Umar Akhmedov, and Gerald Meerschaert actually is coming from a win over Duran win, which I thought would smash him. So that's interesting. I haven't really been impressed overall with Gerald Meerschaert. He's quite slow. He's got good body kicks. He's got great jiu-jitsu, but he's quite slow, and it's not like that athletic guy. His game plan is to suck you in, get a control of you, and slowly but surely sink in the choke. So he struggles with the pressure fighters, with strength and that are explosive, and comes at him at a high pace. And I think Ian Heinisch will do just that in this matchup. If you look at their stats, they're almost the same age. Gerald Meerschaert's a little bit taller and has a little bit of reach, but I think Heinisch has the better stand-up. Meerschaert has the leg kicks, but I think Heinisch will counter that. So my prediction is Heinisch wins via unanimous decision over Gerald Meerschaert. Alright, we are moving up to light heavyweight, a bout between Alonzo Menifield and Devin Clark. Alonzo Menifield is on quite a streak with 5 wins in a row. His last win coming over Paul Craig, not a world beater, but he won that fight via knockout punches. I've never been really high on Devin Clark. He hasn't showed me like a special talent. He's like he's very ordinary and standard in his strikes. He doesn't have any special to him. He's not that extremely. He's quite powerful, but it's not that explosive. Menifield, 2 years the elder, has they're quite similar in terms of length and reach. But no doubt Alonzo Menifield will be the quicker striker, the more explosive striker, will probably land more. Devin Clark, he has this tempo, but he struggles to switch it up and struggles to get pressure. Both have a lot of muscles, so they should be happy it's a 3-rounder. In this bout, I actually believe Menifield is going to win by TKO in the 3rd round. So I'm going with Menifield, 3rd round TKO. Next, we are in the men's flyweight division. We get Jussier Formiga versus Alex Perez. Looking at their last bout, Perez is coming from a submission win over Jordan Espinosa, and Formiga lost a unanimous decision to Brandon Moreno. But in general, I would say Formiga has faced more quality opponents. He's faced the who's who, Joseph Benavides, Sergio Perez, Devin Figueiredo, which is the current flyweight champ. Formiga is a little bit older at 35, Perez 28. In terms of height and reach, they're quite similar. Nova Onyao is the gym. It's a good gym. Yeah, I believe Formiga has the better ground game, the better jiu-jitsu. I believe Perez maybe has the advantage standing, but still at 35, I think people are sleeping on Formiga. He's a high quality fighter, and he delivers often, and he's quite consistent. He doesn't just fall off, and yeah, I think he's still at the top of the division. He's currently ranked 5, and I believe he'll drag Perez to the ground, where Perez will struggle. And we know when Formiga is on top of you, he can do some damage, and if you make a mistake, you're caught in a submission. So that's what I believe will happen here. So my prediction is Jussier Formiga via guillotine choke, round 2. Alright, we are moving up to our first fight on the main card. We got Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Eddie Wineland in the bantamweight division. So, Sugar Sean O'Malley is on a 11-fight win streak. He's undefeated, with his last win came against Nunes via head kick and punches. Wineland's last fight, he knocked out Popov in an exciting match, back and forth. Wineland, 10 years the elder. Sugar Sean O'Malley is the taller athlete at 5'11 versus 5'7. He's got a little bit more reach. While Wineland was impressive in his last match, he has had a little bit of up and down, losing to Dodson, Perez. But this is definitely Sean O'Malley's toughest opponent to date. So this is a significant step up in competition for him. So the question is, will he deliver? That will be exciting to see. But I believe in Sugar Sean. He's a very technical striker, and he's deceiving because he doesn't have the most impressive physique. He's quite tall and skinny, but he knocks guys out. If he lands a head kick on you, you're screwed. We know Wineland can keep the pressure and have knockouts himself, but I think Sugar Sean O'Malley is a little bit too quick, a little bit too technical. He got quite decent head movements, so I think he will evade some shots from Wineland. And I believe as the fight goes on and progresses, Sean O'Malley will take over the fight. So my prediction in this one is Sean O'Malley defeats Eddie Wineland via TKO in the 3rd round. Next, in the bantamweight division, we got an exciting matchup between the Funkmaster Aljamain Sterling versus Cory Sandhagen. Both of these guys are on the top of the division, with Sterling ranked currently at 2 and Sandhagen at 4. Both are on win streaks, with Sterling's last win coming over Pedro Nunes in a unanimous decision, and Sandhagen over Raphael Assuncao. So both have faced or been facing high quality opponents. Looking at their stats, they're quite similar in reach, but the height, there's a significant height difference, with Cory Sandhagen being 5'11" versus Sterling's 5'7". Both these fighters have a high output, They are very technical strikers with good counters and good movements. So I can predict. I predict these two could possibly cancel each other out on the feet. I don't believe any of them will try to take the other down, so I think it will be quite a strategic match on the feet. And yeah, I think it will be quite even. But I believe in Sandhagen's momentum, and I believe he will be a future title contender. So my prediction is Cory Sandhagen wins via split decision over Aljamain Sterling. In our co-main event of the evening, we have Raphael Assuncao versus Cody Garbrandt in the bantamweight division. If you're looking at their stats, we see that they're quite similar. 5'7" for Cody versus 5'6", 66.5-inch reach versus 60 feet. It's quite similar. The difference is the age, with the Assuncao being 37 and Cody still young at 28 years old. You would believe he's older because he fought a lot the last couple of years. The last fight, he lost to Pedro Munoz, a KO in a brawl that either fighter could be knocked out from. Assuncao, his last fight versus Cory Sandhagen, he lost a decision in that one. They're currently ranked 7 and 8, and this is Cody's comeback. He struggled with some injuries. It's over a year since he fought, but I started to believe him after his last interview with Ariel Helwani. He seemed like he was motivated, that he had learned from his mistakes. He wanted to go back to the technical Cody, the strategic one, not the brawling 50-50 fighter. So I think he will play this out smart. We saw what he could do when he faced Dominic Cruz. There was no brawling in there. He went in strategic and picked him apart. He had confidence, and I believe he will have a slightly higher output than Assuncao, which is also a very good fighter, but in the lighter divisions, it's an advantage being younger. So I can see Garbrandt use his boxing and box Raphael up. I don't think Assuncao will be able to take him down. So I think Cody will have the advantage on the feet and win the fight via unanimous decision. In our main event of the evening, we got a title fight with two ladies. We got Amanda the Lioness Nunes versus Felicia Spencer the Phenom. Okay, so we got 19-4 versus 8-1. Nunes is on a winning streak. With her last win was versus Germaine de Randamie, where she won a unanimous decision. Felicia, her last fight was versus Sarah Fairn, and before that she lost to Cyborg. So some could argue that she got this title fight a little bit cheap. So Nunes is in her prime at 32. Felicia is 29. And it looks like Felicia is going down in weight because her latest weight was 145. All right. I have to admit, I think this will be quite brutal. I think Nunes is on fire. She will come out very strong, and I think she will overwhelm Felicia in the first round. I believe this will be quite similar to her other fights when she just starts her opponent early. She's good all around. She has no particular weakness. She has very good boxing. She got good power. She's very tough, durable. She got good cardio. There's really no weakness. And I believed Nunes since day one. I saw this girl is gonna be something. So it's nice seeing her do so well right now. But yeah, I'm not gonna make this longer than necessary. So Amanda Nunes wins via first round TKO. Alright, we are currently looking at the odds for UFC 250, and I think the two fights which you get the best value from is Jussier Formiga at 220, and I think Ian Heinisch at 180 is also a good bet. But I betted on all the fights that I predicted. Also here you can see the lines. I used the decimal. I think it's easier to calculate from there. You can also see the trend. Meerschaert is going down, which means people are betting on him. I wouldn't do that. Formiga is also going down, so that gives you a good indicator of when you should bet. If they're going down, you should bet quick. If they're going up, maybe you should wait a little. So that was my video. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.